Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Fenton Forest 4X map with Seasons Let's Play series. At the end of the last video I said to you I was going to finish fertilising field 26, then I was going to sleep through the day, and then I was going to come back and fertilise this field again in the morning to see what difference it makes. Right, well that's exactly what I'm going to do, or try to do. Obviously this is the field composition at the moment. Some of it you can still see is first stage fertilisation, even though I have been over the field again. Some of it is now 2 stage, some of it is 3 stage. So this field is all incredibly confusing, and I don't know why that is, unless it's a seasons issue, like I say. So having slept today, hopefully this will now give me a change to the fertilisation status. Appear to be. These are some of the issues I'm noticing with Seasons, and like I say, I've been noticing it more on my multiplayer server. I've now come into real save game, single player. And these fields definitely are not... they're not changing, the fields are not changing fertiliser state when I'm fertilising, so to save me messing around wasting any more time on this one particular field, I am going to just ignore it. I'm going to leave it, because potatoes at the end of the day are not are quite a high yielding crop. You tend to get a lot of potatoes for your money in this game. You know, what I may do is quickly just go down and do field 22, give that a bit of a tickle, and then we'll go do the cornfield that I had previously addressed. As far as growth states go, everything's growing tickety-boo. Apparently there's a lot of grass now on the map that's ready to harvest, so we may do some, may get the old mower out. May do some baling and try that bale machine, that bale shredding machine that we've got. This is where I'll put the hood back on so I can see that I'm actually driving a straight line. Oh, I do need to move over a bit more. We'll basically just whiz around this field, do this bit, this one line, where the fertilising state's quite different. I'll go over... Well, we don't need to... Actually, we don't need to do field 1. Field 1 is fine. So maybe... we do a spot of mowing. Or fertilising contracts, but unfortunately they don't pay enough money to worry about. Compared to obviously county lines on the multiplayer, where a fertilising contract nets you about, you know, 120, anywhere between 120 and 180,000. They're worth doing, those contracts. However, as I say, for the most part, a lot of the other contracts, I don't know, again, whether there's a lot of... there seems to be quite a disconnect, I find, in the contract system. When you start using seasons, the number of jobs that you get and the job offers that you get, you tend to just get lots of fertilising. You don't tend to get a lot of options for, like, seeding. And if you do get seeding contracts, they're worth very little. You don't get a lot of ploughing contracts. You might get a couple of cultivating contracts in the sort of late autumn, winter, early spring. But they, again, are few and far between and don't pay a lot of money. And also, harvesting contracts tend to be a bit weird. You will often find, or certainly we have found, on the multiplayer server, that the AI farmers will oh, stop. The AI farmers will have crop still in the ground in winter that they want you to harvest, and weirdly the game will show that that crop has actually withered because they've left it in the ground too long. They've failed to harvest it in time, yet they still want you to harvest it. The farmer does, even though you can't harvest it. So the contract side of things with seasons definitely could do with a bit more work. Needs a bit of a adjustment. And like I say, the prices then of jobs need to be adjusted as well, because ultimately on most maps the only jobs that pay money, that make them worthwhile, is the fertilising contracts. Seeding contracts I find are not very profitable, A, because they don't offer you a lot of money, and plus the fact that obviously seed and fertiliser in a seeder costs you quite a lot of money. When you take off the price of the seed and fertiliser you have to use to get the field planted, that's when the sowing contracts are just like, yeah, they're not worth doing. The game's kind of cheating me. The game's cheating me, it's abusing me, and I don't want to play. People will say, well, fertilising contracts are the same. You use a lot of fertiliser to do them. But yeah, they pay 120,000, certainly on county lines. 120,000 is the lowest price I've seen for a fertilising gig, and they go up to, as I say, they go up to 180,000, 190,000 on that map. They're a little bit lower on this map, but then again, I assume that's because the fields are quite a bit smaller for the most part. 15 grand. Some of these fields, there's got to be some big fields somewhere. I mean, field 20 is a big field, 51 hectares. Good price, but 86 grand, that's still... What makes me more inclined to do the fertilising contracts is because obviously once we get up and running in the game and we're producing fertiliser ourselves, we're not having to buy it like we have been doing in this first year. You have quite obviously an abundance then of fertiliser, especially when you start getting the old silage going and you start feeding the BGA lots of silage, and you start getting your digestate production going, and then you start turning your digestate into fertiliser. All of a sudden, very quickly, you can have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of litres of fertiliser just sitting around. So then it's no longer an issue. Fertiliser becomes, you know, something that you have got so much of, you do not care what you use it on. So fertilising contracts tend to get absolutely smashed out in multiplayer. They tend to get smashed very quickly. As I say, a couple of times they've done seeding contracts on the multiplayer server. Helgi did one last night, which he kind of regretted because he took it on the biggest field on the map. And he had to refill his seeder so many times. But he found out, he did luckily find out fairly quickly, that when you're doing a seeding contract, you do not need fertiliser in the seeder. If you run out of fertiliser, it will technically still keep working, which is something that was new to me. I've never encountered that before. Normally, if you have a seeder, which has seed and fertiliser, if it runs out of one product or the other, it stops. It doesn't let you carry on if it's missing one of the ingredients. So that was weird. The only time I've come across that working is with Courseplay. Courseplay has an option, obviously, in the mod where it will when you're seeding, you can disable the fertiliser application on a seeder if you don't want to use fertiliser, which again comes in very handy on, say, a single player save like this. If you are doing a seeding contract or a planting contract and you don't want to waste fertiliser, just want to use seed. Now, if you're not going down the production road and don't want to be spending all your money in year one, I've just got to go along the top of this field then, haven't I? And it's done. Yep. One quick trip across the top, and field 22 is fully fertilised. As I say, the potato field over there, this field, I am just going to leave it because I'm not mucking about. If it doesn't want to fertilise for whatever reason, it doesn't want to fertilise. I'm not going to worry about it. Year one crops are pretty much throwaway anyway, because you've got no control over what the field states are when you start, and when you're trying to get into the whole, obviously, crop rotation plannery thing, all this sort of stuff tends to go straight out the window anyway. So we'll get the old get this field fertilised, and then I'll get the mower out and go for a bit of a spin with the mower. Get some grass, maybe do some baleage. I don't know if I've got an auto bale collector. I think we might have to look in the garage and see if we've actually got a bale collector. I probably will need to grab myself a hook lift truck if I don't have a bale collector. Now, another thing I am using, or I'm supposed to be using, is a animal HUD menu mod thing, because obviously Seasons mod at the moment makes it the animal screen really annoying to interact with and see and use, because of the way it lists every single animal individually rather than just showing you chicken pen, total number of chickens, how much food they need, you know, how clean are they, how dirty are they, how many eggs are they made, blah blah blah, like the default game. Seasons obviously adds quite a lot of additional info to the animals, which necessitates that every animal is listed individually, which when you have a chicken pen that can hold 1,000 chickens means your animal screen gets quite difficult to scroll down, especially when you want to then go to the next pen and say look at your pigs or your cows or your sheep. So I'm rocking a mod that's supposed to enable me to see, you know, how all that stuff works. It may require me, though, to go into the menu and set up some keybinds for it. Now, obviously, quality of life mod, I've got Animal Clean installed because I don't like cleaning all the muck up inside in front of the animal pens when they start chucking their food about. I really don't see why that's a thing in game. If anything, animal cleanliness to me, the way I would have done animal cleanliness if I was the game developer, I would have had that as actually being the animal area. So the animal cleanliness would go up or would decrease over time as their area gets, you know, like chickens, like cows and pigs, their cleanliness would go down as the manure and slurry builds up. So as their slurry and manure pits start to get full, that's when their cleanliness would go down, because basically you need to clean them out. Same with the horses, you would have to muck them out and keep the manure emptied. That's how I would do the cleanliness on those. Chickens, I wouldn't have had cleanliness at all with chickens, because chickens really don't make that much of a mess. And the sheep, I suppose you would have like sheep poo to deal with and clean up after them. Again, all the animals should produce some kind of, if they're in a pen, should produce some like manure, slurry, something, you know, realistic. I mean, at the end of the day, you're putting food into them, they are going to poo. They are going to crap it out the other end. So the fact that horses don't, by default in-game, actually produce any manure is kind of strange to me. And some of the other animals. Right. So. Now I can't remember if I switched on. I probably didn't switch on the mod I wanted to switch on. This is where I'm probably going to have to go into the menu now and look at keybinds for a bit. And see if I've actually set up any keybinds. Animal HUD chickens, so that's going to be right out 1, 2, right out 3, right out 4, 5. Font increase will be animal right out plus. Font decrease right out minus. HUD fill level right alt 0. Show hide all will be right alt enter. Animal worker. Have I got animal worker still installed? I thought I changed animal worker. Thought I removed it. Animal keeper settings. Left alt K. Change that to right alt 8. That's the mod I was thinking of I had installed. So right alt 8. None of those are working yet because I guess I don't have any animals. That could be why. Let's have a jog over to the chickens. And let's have a look how we're going to do the chickens. Like I say, there's a big grass area here that I could mow. Get rid of all this grass. Would be very useful. Right, we'll come over here then. We'll buy some chickens. We want. I think now, I don't know whether this is right or not. Somebody might have to tell me this. But I think we need 1 rooster for every 10 female chickens. If I remember right. Not right, because then that would be 11, that'd be 12, wouldn't it? So this needs to be 22. And if we have 32 of them, would be 10 of each. That does that. So we've got some chickens in there now. And I have got the animal pen extension mod. Right, so if I check this now. Why did that not show on screen then? some weirdness going on here. Right, combined. There we go then. So there's the chickens. If I just... that turns that off then. Right. We'll get some more chickens in this pen. And we want... we'll get 2 roosters. We'll get 10 of those. 12. 10 of those. And we'll get 10 of those. Chickens. Right, we're going to need a trailer. Then as this guy's parked over here, we'll jump in him. Get a little bit of wheat in each of these pens. Just to get them off and running. And remember where the actual pipe out is. I used all the wheat, did I? Looks like I may have used all the wheat. Did I use that in the, I must have used that in the pig food machine then. Ah. Naughty of me. Should have used the barley. Made pig food and we don't have pigs, as everyone's going to probably keep reminding me. Thankfully, the chickens, I don't believe, eat a great deal. Get this in here. Right, keep the rubbish out. Part this back over here, I suppose. Right, so if I do... you've got to be right near the chickens. Good thing to show up. Oh, pressing the wrong button, that's why. Lol. My animal hub then. Productivity is 20%. Productivity is now 100%. Barley is at 1,000 litres, 100%. There we go. Keep it combined. That keeps that a little bit easier to manage. Right, what's next? Let's go grab our mower. Let's do a little bit of grass cutting. Never know, we may be able to get some sheep purchased and be starting to produce some wool. This bad boy. Notice Courseplay wants to be a bit ridiculous. Got the crank speeds up a bit on this. Field work mode, obviously. Turn on field is going to be deactivated. It turn direction whenever possible. Coded. And if I remember right, that does me off dropping. Yeah. We're going to be swathing drop. Dropping swath. Basically going to mow as much grass as I actually can around these chicken pens. And I kind of let the grass get a little bit wild and out of control. We have got a loading wagon. It's not the most brilliant and bestest loading wagon in the game, but it should enable me to pick up a fair bit of this. Follow this man. Test. As much as we can, as close as we can to the chickens. We're expert mowers. Nicely mowing around the chickens in it so that they're actually easy for us to actually manage them. Can't do anything about the grass in the pen unless I get the train tool out. Got, you know, picking up the chicken pen. Want to do. We've got a nice, fairly open area. In front of the chicken pens. drive down here first. And we'll work our way back up. Put the beacons on, of course. We're doing field work. Technically. We're on a field. Maybe a grass one, but it's still a field. It's going to get a little bit awkward. I'll try and do around the front of this thing. Get a lot, little letters. Not too much of a fight. Seem to want to fight me. I mean, I can always, at the front of the pen there, just to paint a bit more of terrain, get rid of the grass, put some more wood chips down maybe, like I've done on the other bit there. Drive down the front of this, don't I? That's going to be awkward to pick up now. I'm going to have to drive across the front of the pen with the loading wagon. That's that bit mode. Hold her up. We'll take her and put her back. Put the grass dryer over there, haven't I? Yes. And go make some hay. Useful for feeding to sheep. Like I say, this mower, eventually, once I get field 8 to the stage where it needs to be mowed, we'll go and live up near field 8 in the shed that Stevie's handily put right there for us. Right, we've got loading wagons. I'll grab this one. We'll grab the big Fenton 1050. Put that down a bit more, so when we are actually loading wagoning, we're going to get start picking this up. It should all be grass. First year of at this point in time. It's not quite warm enough yet for it to have become hay, plus it rained yesterday, so I assumed the grass would be fairly well moistened. I didn't think I'd run into any issues with it having turned into hay, which can happen when you're cutting the grass in the summer, although look at it, some of it is turning into hay before my eyes. In fact, quite a lot of this is now turning into hay. Yeah, it looks like straw, but it's not straw. It's drying grass, it's hay. It's a definite season's texture. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like it, is my first initial gut reaction. Because most machines don't like it if you start picking up mixed consist materials. So right now, this loading wagon, because I've got grass in it, will pick up grass and it'll just ignore the hay and stuff like that that's on the ground drying. Whereas some things like balers, for example, might get a little bit funny in that they will keep emptying as you're driving along because they're adjusting to what they're picking up. So don't be surprised if you start doing bales and then you suddenly find, hang on a minute, why have I got a hay bale when I'm picking up grass? It could be because of this texture, this season thing where the grass changes. Because obviously it's fairly warm. Looks like it's a decent drying day. The wind speeds up and that's going to help dry the grass out very quickly. And I think by virtue of by the fact alone that we swathed, I think when machines do a swath, they dry out the ingredient, they dry out whatever it is. You have to be watchful of that. We can get that lane in a minute. Start doing some of these other lanes. I'm getting onto this one. So we could make silage straight away with this, but there would be little point because we don't have cows yet. What I'm going to do instead is make hay. Where this wonderful machine over here comes in useful. Oh. Driving through this box, we now should get a tip trigger. And that'll be the grass going in there, and it will get dried by the machine, and we haven't got to sit around for several days waiting for it to be turned into hay. Here's the tricky one, right in front of the pen. Get the grass out of the chicken pen. No, it won't affect, I don't think it'll affect eggs spawning, but you never know whether it'll be like, oh, there's no room for eggs. Because it detects the grass as a foreign object. But it's funny how the hay looks like straw to me. Definitely a weird texture-y issue. Unless it's the weird, like, barley grass stuff. Along here. Go here. Left of it. Two lovely little doodle flips. Can't quite pick that bit up. Oh. We'll just drive along here. Nice little area this, actually. If I put a few more chicken pens down on it, or I could have put a couple more sheep pens and stuff on it. I think what I really want, I want a mod at some point in time for a modded chicken pen and a modded sheep pen that actually allows for more pallets to spawn. So you're not just got 4, you know, they could spawn, you know, like 16 pallets before they complain about being full. That would be really useful to have as well for a single player. Then you're not constantly being hassled by that no room to place eggs, no room to place wall messages type thing that you always get. I think there's supposed to be smoke coming off of that, but right, we've got some hay. Right, you know what we're going to do with the hay then, don't you? We're going to go and get some sheep. Add some sheep to our little starting map. Helps if I turn off the loading wagon now. I can drive a bit faster. Right, so if I remember right, the food goes round the side here. Need to buy some sheeps first. Right, let's have of those. Of those. 20 of those. And we'll have 20 of these as well. Hello, sheep. That's got quite a nice bit of hay in there already. I bet when I check the animal screen in a minute, we'll need some water as well, which means I'll get to drive the little Fenton for the first time ever in a minute as well. The great thing about these machines is you can put the hay back in them. Absolutely brilliant. You don't need a traditional like hay loft or anything like that if you've got one of these. Right, here's our lovely Fenton 724, 734, something like that. Yeah, 724. Use this for putting water in the old sheep pens. From down here. Already got a pallet of wool, look. Jeez. yellow sheep is. Right, well, I think with the sheep installed in the animal pen behind me, this is a good place as any to say thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, remember to do the 3 most important things. Click that subscribe button if you're not already doing so. Make sure you click the thumbs up like button on the video and leave a comment down below. We have sheep. They are amazing. They're going to make us wool. We have some chickens. All the fields are planted. The fields are fertilised as much as I'm prepared to fertilise them. So as we head out of spring and move into summer, we'll see what other jobs we can end up doing. We might go off and do a few contracts, if there are some good contracts out there paying some good money. If there's not a lot to do around here whilst we're waiting until harvest time. So be sure to join me again in another episode. Bye for now.